Hey, hey, hey. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. Wife had an online affair. The backstory. Me, male 24, and my wife, female 23, have had a rocky relationship the last 6 months. We got married 2.5 years ago. The marriage counselor was open and honest with me on my mistakes, and although I was a bit hard-headed, I eventually understood my issues and I started to make drastic changes. I am now going to the gym 5 days a week. I have been much more persistent in loving her and dating my wife. I have been listening to her instead of trying to answer every question. I have grown closer to God in my faith. Essentially, I have been growing as an individual to be the best version of myself. And for about 3 days, I was feeling great about my efforts and telling her how sorry I was for how I've been. However, despite this, I still noticed her being distant. I thought that she just needed time to see my efforts in changing were genuine. I wasn't perfect. I made mistakes with her. I stopped being the guy she wanted to be with. But I apologized for this and told her that going forward, a change would happen. My marriage counselor saw this change and was proud of me for making these changes. But also through this time, I noticed how she had been growing closer to her online friends. She's been receiving Snapchats. She holds the phone away from me when she texts. She acts cold to me when I try to be intimate. Yesterday, I had felt like something still wasn't adding up. That there was a piece of the puzzle that was missing. I loved this woman and have been giving my all listening in marriage counseling, doing what I needed to do to change. And yet, there was no change for her. So, I checked one of her devices despite knowing already what I would probably find. On the device, everything was revealed. Ever since we started going to counseling, she has been sexting and messaging one of her online friends. Doing it while I'm not home at work, doing it in our bed, doing it all while I told her my greatest fear was being cheated on, and she told me that I never have to worry about that from her. I was not distraught upon finding this. Instead, I felt vindicated. That this relationship was failing not just because of my mistakes, but because she was also failing. I immediately called my marriage counselor, and she was shocked to hear this. She stated that this was unexpected from her and explained how I should handle it. I confronted her when she got home from work. I asked her to sit in the living room with my mother and father present to have witnesses. I told her that I knew and asked her what her plan was. For me to find out and then walk? For her to keep this up as I was getting better? She said she didn't have a plan, nor an excuse. She said she feels terrible she did this, and said that it was a friendship that got out of hand, that she wanted to stop, but used it as an escape from our marriage problems. She said she was never ready to get married, that she got married because that's what she was expected to, having a sheltered religious upbringing. She revealed these deeper issues to me, but again, she said she should have been more honest with me and said that she feels nothing but regret and shame for her actions. That night, we slept in separate beds for the first time in a long time. Just the night before, she told me how much she loved me and was proud of me for getting better. This whole time, it was a lie. She was seeking pleasures from another man. I went for a walk last night and prayed my heart out. I went back to the room and told her I forgive her, but I am still hurt. I told her I still want this to work, but things would need to be different. My marriage counselor stated that we will be having an emergency meeting on Monday. In the meeting, a plan will be put in place on how to proceed. In my heart, I still love her, and I want to make this work and rebuild. However, if she is hesitant or says she needs more time to figure herself out, then it will be over. My marriage counselor said I need to value myself because I deserve to be loved and chased after by someone who will put in 100% just like me on making things work. To be honest though, I already kind of know that her heart probably isn't in it to make it work. But until I ask her myself directly and wanting a straight answer, I will not know. What hurts the most is that she was never honest with how she felt. If it was really feeling like it was too late after my mistakes, then I'd rather her have just left me. This has rocked my confidence, which I was already struggling with. This morning, she said she was in disbelief that I could find it in myself to forgive her, but she doesn't know how she can forgive herself and she needs that time. Last night, she said she wanted to just be friends for now, as being close feels too painful. It's understandable as D-Day just happened. I am not spiteful of her. My faith in God and my belief system has given me peace through this hurricane of emotions. I want the best for her. I want her to be happy. If it's with me, then we will reconcile and work it out. If it isn't, I hope she finds happiness somewhere else in life, since she does have deep emotional issues tied to her family origins. Would like some advice from those here on how I should approach this going forward, on what feelings I might expect, on what life will be like if this doesn't work out, or if it will. I love this woman, I do, but I also know if it wasn't meant to be, then it wasn't meant to be. Thank you for reading. Update. So, it turns out this affair has been going on since January. Back then, it was more of an emotional affair, but then escalated as time went on. Last night, she stated that she has been wanting out of the marriage since January, but didn't know how to say it because she was afraid. This was despite me never laying a hand on her or ever yelling at her. She even contacted him again last night after she said she would break things off. I asked her up front if she had feelings for this guy, and she said yes, she did. She said that she is sorry and that I deserve a better wife, and I agreed. She said that she is messed up and a terrible person, and yes, I agree. She said she is a habitual liar, and yep, nailed that one. She's been lying to my face for 5 months now that everything was fine and nothing was going on. She has been slowly turning the story against me with her friends and family privately, telling them how I don't like any of them, how I like to put on a fake face around people, but I'm a selfish person. Yeah, I wonder how much of that was just her trying to play it up because she caught feels for another guy. I still told her that I loved her, deep down I do, but because I love myself also, I can't do this anymore. She hurt me. She's continued to hurt me. This year, she has made me feel like I have had to walk on eggshells around her, trying to figure out what she was thinking. I had to live in fear if I was or wasn't doing the correct things, even though I have sincerely apologized for mistakes I've made, and she said she forgave me. But she never did, and it hurts being lied to that I thought someone was willing to give me a chance when it was all a lie. I don't even know what her plan was, to keep this up for longer while I continued to think it was all my fault? To eventually walk away randomly without me ever knowing why? She says she feels disrespected that I checked her devices to discover all this, but how does she think I feel? She said that from the very beginning of our marriage she knew she wasn't ready, but never expressed it to me, never gave me hints, kept enabling me when she didn't raise concerns over mistakes I was making, telling me everything was all right, telling me she was still in love with me. How much of that was a lie, I wonder? For 4 years I gave this woman my heart. I chased after her, and we had the fairy tale wedding and courtship. All of that was a lie. I told her I don't feel comfortable with her in the house, especially when she made a comment last night asking if she could trust me. She stated she could stay at a friend's place for the time being. She packed her things and left quickly. She said she regretted that things went this far, but I don't want to hear it. She has no idea how much she has scarred me. She has no idea how much the images of the things she has done in my bed for this other guy have haunted me. How much she has hurt me. If she was truly unhappy, she should have just told me and left like an adult, not play me around as if things could potentially work out. She said it best. She has acted like an immature girl when I deserve a mature woman. I wish her the best. She has deep issues that need to be resolved so she can be happy again with herself. She is terrified of how she will break the news to her parents of what she did to me. I'm sure, though, she will bend the truth and lie to some extent about what happened, but I don't care what her family or friends think. I deleted my social media and blocked numbers so jackasses will never contact me if they think this is all somehow my fault. I will not hear any of it. I am done. I'm checked out. Completely. We don't have any major assets, and she already has her own separate bank account. This process of separation will be very easy. I've spoken to my father who has gone through this before, and he is walking me through, so I'm in good hands and have a great support group. I cried one final time last night, not for losing her, but the immense feeling of shame that was hovering over my head this year to finally be gone. It still comes in waves, but it gets easier when I remember the things she said. How she was wayward, how she folded at the first test of our relationship. I recorded our final conversation for my own protection. She stated clearly in the video that this was on her and this was mostly her fault that this thing failed. Before anyone asks, it was legal for me to do this. I checked the laws of my state. I told her that these past 4 years have been the best times of my life with her, but our time has passed. This next week, I'll be cleaning up the room and putting her things in boxes. Looking forward to having more space. I'm not looking for advice from you guys really, just wanted to update things on what happened. Slowly but surely, I'm getting better already and will continue to improve myself for the woman that truly deserves and desires me. Some tips on how to move forward would be great. Honestly though, I'm feeling kind of proud of how I handled things. I never lashed out or got overly emotional. Thank you. Our first comment comes from Redundant Pundit. She is monkey branching, swinging to the next guy who appears to be so much better. Anyone can fake being great on the internet, but that is only a sham. She has no idea what she is walking into. She will learn that living with someone is far different and harder than chatting on the internet. If her internet love collapses, expect her to try to come back saying she screwed up and is sorry. Don't be her fallback guy. You deserve better than that. Good luck. Our next reaction comes from Bama72. OP, tell her parents and everyone else the truth. Don't let her soil your character to protect herself. She has already proven that she will lie. The time for protecting her as her husband is over now. She fired you. I suspect that you will find out in the future after you recover and are dating someone else how badly you settled and just never had any context to know. And when this all blows up, and it will, make sure you have done the steps to clearly see who she was so you are not tempted to take her back. You can do better. You deserve better. Alone is better. On to the next story. She doesn't make any sense to me. My 27 male wife, 27 female, cheated on me a little over a month ago. We had been married for 8 years and have 2 children. So we are going through the process of getting divorced now. I have been implementing the 180 for about 3 weeks now. What I don't understand is she is continuing to act as though nothing is wrong and nothing had happened. She even still says I love you sometimes and asks for hugs. Tonight, she texted me and asked, do I hate her? I don't know how to answer that. She has destroyed my life and ripped my family away from me half the time because of her own selfishness. If this is the decision she has made, why is she asking me this? And why does she continue with this nothing is wrong facade? Ultimately, she said she wants me to be her best friend. If any of you would like to hear my whole story, let me know. Also, sorry, first time posting on Reddit. Here is my story. Okay, I have been reading stories for over a month now, trying to get the courage to post my story. My 28 male wife, 28 female, of 9 years of marriage, has cheated on me. We were high school sweethearts and I joined the military. We did the whole got married after boot camp thing and have been together ever since. In our years we were married, we did have 2 kids. She was a good Christian girl and she had been cheated on in the past and always said she would never do that to me. But here we are. A little over a month ago, she came home and told me she had been seeing someone and she loved him. Come to find out, it is a guy who was 20. She said she loved both of us and wanted to be with both of us. She said we perfectly fill each other's voids. She also stated she gets 80% of what she needs from me and she gets the emotional 20% from him. I decided to give her a choice. She had to lose this kid. She had to completely ghost him and never talk to him again, and we would get the therapy we needed. She said no. She said she can't choose between the 2 of us. She said the choice would shatter her. Then she asked again if we could all be together and I told her no. We had recently moved into a new place. I lived there for a total of 6 days. So it didn't take me long to get all my stuff packed, since it was all still in boxes. For the past few years, she had been reading a lot of reverse harem books, so I'm not sure if this is where all of this stems from. I am currently staying with a friend and we are getting all the papers in order to divorce. She said she wished I hadn't moved out so quick because she wanted time to think about everything. I told her we are married and have a family. There shouldn't be much thinking involved. She hasn't told any of her family what she has done yet, except for her mom, and she still goes and sees him. And when she sees me, she acts as though nothing is wrong and she hasn't done anything wrong. She still calls me babe, love, and dear, even though I don't say it to her. She also still says, I love you, sometimes. Many times, she motions for hugs, and it is just very confusing to me because it's like she doesn't think she has done anything wrong. It really hurts my head to process. She has decided to trade everything we had for some kid, who I might add is not attractive at all, she met at work, who has a kid of his own. Everything we had in the past 9 years, just right down the crapper. Our first community reaction comes from Live Maze 6410. She wanted time to think about everything? Boom. Right there, the decision was made for you, and you crushed it by moving out and filing. Go no contact except for children, and live for yourself, and know you will be okay. I'm sorry this is happening to you, but your reaction and response will be key going forward. We got another comment coming from Enough Already, Geez. She sounds very immature and needs some psychiatric help. Get your finances protected. Ghost her and tell everyone she's a liar and a cheater. When her fantasy romance falls apart and she wants to get back together, tell her to F off. You are still young and can have a great single life. One more comment from No Carpenter 8359. That sounds like it hasn't hit her yet that you are divorcing her. Also, she doesn't realize what she did to you by cheating. It would help to know your story.